The Straw Hats are never gonna be the same after this, especially the left wing of the Pirate King, as Oda has finally locked in and gave Sanji the moment he has been waiting for since I started calling him 5-Anji. But the craziest reveal is the real reason we are in Elbaf, for the Straw Hats to gain the hidden power that has existed all around the giants for over 800 years. And now, Luffy's crew is about to harness this for their new power-ups in the final war. With the sole exception of Usopp, of course. He's just gonna get some bigger seeds. The power-ups begin with Franky, who is at the Owl Library. Everyone, even from such a large distance, can see Loki flying up ahead and can feel the Haki bursting out of the fights happening near West Village. Before heading into his own battle, Franky is paused by Lilith though, as she starts nerding out about the air in Elbaf. She is certain that Vegapunk's hover shoes would function with no problem in Elbaf. Remember, the entire island of Vegapunk was transformed to be high-tech and 500 years into the future. Most of this technology is fueled by the combustion of various materials. The air of Egghead itself can give things like the hover shoes power. Vegapunk needed way more resources to be able to mass produce this for the general public out of Egghead, but according to Lilith, it seems Vegapunk's tech would work automatically with zero modifications to Elbaf at all. Why is that, you may ask? Well, it has to do with Elbaf teeming with a dense energy which can be harnessed for not only Vegapunk's tech, but even to power someone like Franky. Lilith asks him if he has ever considered using anything stronger to power himself, to which Franky is kinda dumbfounded, as he's like, me Franky, me like cola. Keep this in mind though for later on, because it's time for our weekly fraud watch. While everyone else is getting power-ups, the man whose arc it was supposed to be is relegated to the role of a react streamer as he screams that the flames have grown more at the library. Bro, you are not at the Mr. Beast streamer challenge. Lock in, bro. You gotta lock in. We can already see the flames. Do something about it instead. Throw some seeds at it, for God's sake. Do something. Luckily, Nami is there for the rescue as she readies Zeus. Here, we witness Zeus at his strongest while being wielded by Nami as he covers the whole giant library with rain. Like, this dude is gigantic cloud right now. He is truly a beast, and maybe the reason why Zeus could get to this size and store so much water so quickly might be because of that abundant energy around Elbaf that Lilith just told us about. But more on that in just a bit, because Saint Killingham is here to ruin the party. Bro is like, nah, this isn't part of the deal. We cannot control the world if we don't change the history with lies. Then suddenly a massive MMA of the Lindworm literally eats Zeus, halting the rain completely. With everyone in panic, we hear that the ODCs are also engaging. In a flash, the entire Owl Library is frozen solid as the thermal energy was absorbed completely by Lilith's machine. She says that even calamities are just clumps of energy, proving that this machine sucks the energy out of objects. And in One Piece, the ultimate energy source which runs everything is of course Haki. Or in the case of an object like fire, it's probably its will to burn. This will of fire is then converted into the new Super Vega Cola. it's unruly like the flames engulfing the school just a second ago. And when Franky adds it to his body, he gets his biggest upgrade since the time skip. Bro's internal structure already made him on par with the pacifistas, the newer ones. However, Lilith is shocked that Franky could run himself with such an inefficient form of fuel. This new Vega Cola is on a completely different level, as every muscle in Franky's body is rearing to fire up. Honestly, I kind of understand how Bro must feel, because when I drink Gamer Sup, I feel the same way. A burst of energy so strong that it makes me stop doom scrolling reels and lock in. Now with this ODC, Oda just dropped one of the biggest bombshells of Elbaf, as this proves our balls deep theory about God Haki, which exists everywhere in the One Piece world, and is especially strong in Elbaf, as Lilith pointed out earlier. It's possible that this ambient God Haki is the thing that powered the ODC to convert the fire into cola for Franky to use. The density of this energy in Elbaf might also explain the gigantification of Elbaf's people, its flora or fauna, who have been passively absorbing a constant atmospheric caloric intake of pure willpower since at least the start of the Second World. This is similar to how when the Earth was abundant in oxygen, like during the late Paleozoic or the Carboniferous period, when the air was made of 30% oxygen instead of our current 21%, which resulted in giant insects all over the surface. While on Earth, this was part of the natural cycle. In Elbaf, this massive saturation of energy is due to the treasure tree atom. Acts as the geographical pole to its counterpart, the sun tree Eve at Marie Joie. Both of them together create massive planetary circuit, which used to function as a sort of a magnetosphere of Haki, where the standard magnetism of the planet's core is overpowered by the Haki energy these two created and circulated. Maybe the atom tree took energy from the core of the planet and busted it out like a big ass nut, while the Eve tree would take back the energy from the surface or the humans and circulate it back into the planet. You know, even atom trees wood being like hella strong and sturdy and girthy, like that might also be a fact of all this energy condensing into the wood of the atom tree. Perhaps this was the forbidden flame humanity discovered in the first world according to the Harley text, but everything fell apart when the Earth God raged and the Red Line was created. This colossal barrier would block the Haki flow between Adam and Eve, completely breaking the circuit and dooming the planet. Maybe this is why Laboon has been relentlessly slamming his head into the Red Line. He's like a signal for the Haki not being able to reach its destination. With the energy blocked, it's bouncing all around the globe, creating the weird weather patterns all across the world of One Piece, while the islands themselves become kind of like anchor points for a lot of this Haki to swirl around, and that's how the log poses keep pointing at the islands. However, you have something like the Calm Belt, where these disrupted waves of Haki come together and perfectly repel each other, hence why there is zero motion in that sea. Furthermore, this global flow of broken energy is the exact mechanism behind the birth of devil fruits, because the Sun Tree Eve acts as a colossal omni-drain converter, pulling the intangible will of mankind from the atmosphere, and it channels these countless human desires and phase shifts that abstract energy into the devil fruits, just as Vegapunk theorized and Lilith has just demonstrated with Vega Cola. This might be another reason Elbaf is such an important piece for Imu to control for his aim of completely remaking the world image. This theory low-key ended up way deeper than I expected. Like, there is way more evidence that fits into this, but the editors are literally gonna kill me if I don't wrap this up right now, so let me know in the comments if you want a dedicated video on this. Back to the chapter though, Saint Q is big mad right now because how could these insects ruin a Celestial's plans? They were promised this new world over 4,000 years ago. So Killingham orders his lindworm to devour the entire library just like Zeus. However, just as Jinbei pops in to tell Nami it will be alright, Saint Q hugs his air purifier mask on his big ass helmet like his life depends on it. Bro was already wearing a helmet. These Celestials are built different. It's like if bro breathes the same air as a Goyim fishman, he will die. This level of racism puts Big Jeff and his buddies to shame, bro. Double masked up, 6 feet distancing like it's 2020. At this moment, Sanji transforms into Mr. Prince. Bro doesn't even look at the camera as he roasts this buffoon and his gross ideology. This guy who is supposed to be part of the strongest force in the world is so ignorant that he can't recognize a former warlord of the sea. Now, Sanji wastes no time activating one of his strongest blue flame attacks, Ifrit Jambe Concasse, as he breaks through Saint Q's helmet, flattening him onto the ground. This one attack is about to feed Sanji fans for years, I swear, man. But on a serious note, Sanji activating his blue flames with zero hesitation, which are powered in part by his Germa modifications, shows a big evolution in him, especially since Oda chose this as one of his first attacks this arc. Bro can only go up from here, and Balls Deep prediction says that he might utilize more of his lunarian genes in combat, finally creating white flames or even rainbow flames, because Sanji's entire existence was modified before birth. His father worked alongside Vegapunk in Mads, who was studying King, a Lunarian's DNA, to unlock lineage factor manipulation. Sanji had some of his Lunarian DNA augmented within him. His fire, which he could use since pre-time skip, is a manifestation of Lunarian genes. In chapter 1023, Queen explicitly even comments, how can a human create fire? Sanji might be a Lunarian. Even his eyebrow switch is evidence for him being part Lunarian, as in chapter 1031, after Sanji accepts his germicide to defeat Queen, his eyebrow flips. Maybe when they flip, it switches his modes like with King's fire. Sanji's normal brows are for speed, but when they flip, the defensive exoskeleton is activated. Sanji's biggest upgrade though came when he upgraded Diabo Jambe into Ifrit Jambe, which has blue flames and way hotter. Next step is of course for Sanji to burn hotter than fire itself, hot as the sun or plasma, because that's what he's gonna need to keep up with monsters like Loki that may join the crew, man. Or bro is forever gonna be known as Sanji. While Sanji dealt with Saint Q, whom I don't think is defeated yet, by the way, these knights are like cockroaches, they just keep coming back for more beatings. Franky used his own strongest attack so far in the series, powered by Vega Cola. He literally snapped off the worm's head clean off its body as Jinbei punched the stomach to push Zeus out of the hole that Franky just created. Meanwhile, in West Village, we see the aftermath of Zoro's plan. The remaining giants who haven't been domi reversied are still in panic as they face off against the MMAs plus the turned warriors. But Dory and Broggy, after getting smacked up by Zoro and each other's strikes, seem to have gained a bit of their will back. At this moment, they decide the only option they have to ensure the safety of Elbaf and their crew is for them to kill each other. They literally say their goodbyes as they tear each other's heads clean off. Now, everyone else was in utter disbelief that Oda would do such a thing, until of course, their severed heads are pulled back to the abyss and returns perfectly fine with their domi reversied state gone now. even we were shocked reading it, as the last time someone was domi reversied and they got defeated was in the God Valley flashback. It was none other than Roxy Zebek, and to beat him, the Pirate King and Garp had to team up to drain all of his haki. So how can Dory and Broggy just return back to normal? Well, it turns out the secret to defeating domi reversi is you just gotta kill it out of you. Back in God Valley, many fighters damaged Demon Zebek, yet no wounds were fatal. So he just healed it. Even after Garp and Roger's final attack, Rox was technically still alive with the domi reversi effect gone. The only issue there was that he literally had zero haki left. He couldn't even move a muscle while Garling killed him. If Garling or the Holy Knights didn't intervene and one of Rox's crew picked him up from the battlefield like Rayleigh or Gabon did for Roger and Garp, then he might have lived. In Dory and Broggy's case, they hadn't expended all of their haki before killing each other, so they just got their original bodies and souls back. Finally, the East Village crew, headed by Zoro, have a real plan to deal with the rest of the domi reversi giant. They just have to fight to kill, and they are very broken up about it. Those smiles are all fake, you guys. Do not look at them. They are totally not excited in fighting to kill. If you enjoyed this video, watch the video on screen right now. There might be a break next week. Alright, see you guys next chapter review. Or a Baki video, who knows. Bye bye.